So I want to tell you a little bit about who we are as the Institute of Arts and Humanities, what we do, and why I think it matters. The Institute of Arts and Humanities is a hub for all things arts and humanities here on campus and beyond. We have a real public-facing engagement around arts and humanities with our surrounding communities, San Diego at large, Southern California, even the state and the world. We also are home to 14 different programs and centers, all symbolized here with their individual icons. These include African American Studies, Chicano Latino Studies, Chinese Studies, Classical Studies, European Studies, German Studies, Italian Studies, Japanese Studies, Jewish Studies, Middle East Studies, Russian, East European, and Eurasian Studies, Science Studies, Third World Studies, and Transnational Korean Studies. So you get the sense that we have a broad and sweeping reach and range of specializations that are all housed in the Institute of Arts and Humanities. We work with the departments in the Arts and Humanities Division, which include history, literature, philosophy, music, theater and dance, and visual arts, but we also see these programs as different and having a larger mission to bring all of the arts and humanities on campus and beyond together, to put them in dialogue with the rest of campus, including the STEM fields and the social sciences, and also to take the arts and humanities beyond campus into our city of San Diego at large. If that's a snapshot of who we are, I want to tell you a little bit about what we do in the Institute of Arts and Humanities. We offer students the opportunity to major and minor in all of these different fields and programs. We provide extensive programming in lots of different initiatives, including equity, diversity, and inclusion, that is trying to make sure that UCSD is open, accessible to a wide range of people, folks, and communities. We also have a particular investment in the public arts and humanities, again, being in conversation and in dialogue with communities beyond our campus. We think it's vital for our students not just to learn about the arts and humanities in the classroom, but to break out of the classroom and apply, experience, and actually do with their own hands the arts and humanities out in the world. We also really hope, particularly in these times that we're living in, that all of our students will cultivate a toolkit in the digital arts and humanities. And so technology being on the cutting edge, whether you're an artist, an historian, a philosopher, no matter your field, is crucial to everything that we do. And perhaps encompassing all of that, we want all of our students in our programs to engage what we call the global arts and humanities. That is thinking about what happens here on campus, in La Jolla, in San Diego, in Southern California, and how it's connected with the rest of the world. We want to put those experiences in conversation with one another so that when our students do graduate and do leave campus and do go out into the world, they've already done that. They already have experience in putting what they learn here at UCSD into action beyond campus. We also provide lecture series, scholarships, and events that deal specifically with the kind of core arts and humanities, but again, also the humanistic dimensions of the social sciences and the STEM fields. UCSD has a bit of a reputation of being a STEM field campus, but we at the Institute of Arts and Humanities embrace that. We see this as a real opportunity to bring the arts and humanities and the STEM fields and the social sciences into conversation with one another, and really think about how these different pieces, types, and processes of knowledge complement one another. How they're not all siloed in their own corners of campus, but how they come together, and our students in fact, are the vehicles for those types of dialogues and conversations between everything that happens at UCSD. So we provide opportunities for our undergraduates to do research in the arts and humanities, consider how the humanities and STEM fields inform one another. Opportunities to apply for scholarships, including, by the way, a new program that we have in Museum and Public Humanities Curatorial Fellowship. We create opportunities for students to apply what they learn in the classroom off campus in the world. There's a theme, if you are listening to what I'm saying. So undergraduate programs are really at the core and the heart of everything that the Institute of Arts and Humanities does. The students are really our heartbeat, although I should say that they beat alongside our graduate students, our faculty, our amazing staff in all of these programs, as well as our vast lineup and roster of community partners across San Diego. But I want to give you a couple of examples about how our students have the opportunity to really break out of the classroom. One of my colleagues in the history department is Professor Mark Hanna. It also happens that he is also the associate director of the Institute of Arts and Humanities. He's not here today, but in a class that he teaches called A History of Seafaring in the Age of Sail, Mark is one of the foremost experts in the country on maritime history, on the British and American empires, and teaches and has written a book on the history of piracy. And so this is a very popular class, and in this class on the history of seafaring, what he does is he partners with the Maritime Museum in downtown San Diego, and as a part of the actual curriculum, the students sail out to sea on the San Salvador ship, which is a replica ship of the first ship that actually sailed into San Diego Harbor in 1542, a ship that was captained by Juan Cabrillo. So I'm going to show you a short video clip of Mark and his class and their guests, which included parents, by the way, the last time they did it this past quarter, sailing on the San Salvador. I'm going to give you another example and talk a little bit about the internship opportunities that we are cultivating for the students in our programs. We really want IAH, the Institute of Arts and Humanities, to be the clearinghouse for all of the hands-on, applicable experiences that students might get out in museums, in libraries, working with grassroots community organizations, both on and off campus. And just as one example, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a class that I am teaching this quarter. We're only in our third week upcoming, and so this is a pilot course called Race and Oral History in San Diego. I'm an oral historian of sorts, but I'm working with a wide range of folks, including fellow historian Simeon Mann, ethnic studies professor Yana Spiritu, folks from the library who teach digital skills and archiving, folks from the Cross-Cultural Center who have contacts in communities all across San Diego, and the director, Tricia Taylor, of the academic internship program, where the course itself, the course that students are taking, the one that I'm teaching, really sort of does a couple of different things. On the one hand, in our weekly meetings, regular classroom sessions, they are learning about the vast and varied history of the city that we call home here in San Diego. On the other hand, they are also conducting oral histories with people off of campus as part of a larger community engagement experience. So the students in our class are actually doing internships with a number of different community partners, including the new Children's Museum in downtown San Diego, which is a place I first learned visiting with those two sitting over there over the last 7 years. And the new Children's Museum is this amazing, imaginative space of art and play, yet they are deeply committed to making their space in downtown San Diego open and accessible to the communities across the city. And so our students are working with the new Children's Museum staff on art-making projects, on community outreach projects, to learn about the museum, to learn about how the arts and humanities are actually applied in that particular setting. And they're doing oral histories along the way. One of our other community partners, and these are images from some of the partners that our students this quarter are working with. One of our other community partners is Casa Familiar, which is a grassroots organization in San Isidro, just on this side of the US-Mexico border. Casa provides immigration, housing, legal, and many other services to clients, families really, from grandparents to children and parents in between that come from both sides of the border. So the Tijuana, Mexico side and the San Diego, US side. And students are getting the opportunity to work at Casa along the border, hands-on, not just conducting oral histories with the people that use the Casa services, but also working with the Casa staff. They also have this amazing gallery. If you've never been to the Casa Familiar site down in San Isidro, they have an art gallery in the front of their space that's called the front, and they put on this wide range of amazing cultural programming. So students are getting the opportunity to work with a group like CASA that does so much good for so many people from so many different communities. Another partner that students are able to work with is a group called the United Women of East Africa, which runs an extraordinary cultural center known as the East African Community and Cultural Center in City Heights, the neighborhood just east of downtown San Diego. And this is a group of East African refugee women who came together about 5 years ago after there were a number of deaths in their community by young people, and created a community center that offers health and well-being services, that offers education and tutoring to young folks, that offers a whole range of different programming and services for people from their City Heights community. So students are also having the chance to work with this really remarkable group of East African women on issues related to immigration, refugees, and all sorts of other really critical issues that face our community. And then our final partner in this class is CHELU, which stands for Chamorro, Hands, Education, Links, Unity, which is the main organization for the Chamorro people here in San Diego from the Mariana Islands in the South Pacific. And this group is like CASA, like the East African Cultural Center in City Heights, committed to educational programming, to preserving the language and culture of Chamorro folks, and our students have the opportunity to learn and work with this really amazing organization. And to boot, the hope is that the students will not only get that experience, not only learn about history of San Diego, but that they'll also equip themselves with a kind of toolkit to do oral histories, to do digital mapping and cartography, to do public-facing internet websites where their research can be shared with their community partners and the public at large. A set of skills that will hopefully be applicable to any range of jobs after the fact. And that brings me to my third and final example I want to share with you, because like the parents in the video on the San Salvador, and like me, by the way, I showed up to UCSD as a structural engineering major. That lasted about 2 quarters in my own case. And then because I had a couple of really amazing professors in history, one of which is still here and I'm good friends with and colleagues with now, I became a history major. But I know that sometimes parents wonder what folks are going to do with a degree in history or philosophy or any of the arts and humanities. And this is something we take deadly serious, not just for the parents, but for the future of our alumni, because we know theoretically that the arts and humanities are powerful, that they're deeply imbricated in everything that we do in the world, not just here at UC San Diego. But that doesn't always translate into paying the bills at the end of the day. And so we really take seriously the trajectories, the multiple careers that folks may have in the humanities when they graduate UCSD. So my colleague, Nancy Kwok, actually put together just in the last 2 months a really remarkable series of events on careers in the humanities. And this is just emblematic of the kind of work that we want our students to think about before they actually begin working after UCSD. So I'm going to show you one more short video on Nancy Kwok's really amazing project on careers in the humanities. There's a lot more examples I can share with you, but this is the kind of thing that I hope gives you a little bit of a taste of what an undergraduate experience might be like here at UCSD. But I want to take just a few minutes as we wrap up and also entertain any of your questions or comments. But I want to come back to my last point that I wanted to raise, why all of this matters. I think the arts and humanities, especially these days, matter a great deal. And as I hope I've conveyed to you, even in just the few minutes we've shared together, that we want to think big, broadly, and deeply about the arts and humanities, what they are, how they impact our students, our staff, our faculty, and the wider public. Arts and humanities, yes, they make us better artists and historians and philosophers, but I would argue that they also make us better engineers and scientists, chemists, citizens of the world. We want to think less about the so-called crisis of the arts and humanities and more about how the arts and humanities can help us all address the crises that we all share and face together. We want to equip our students, our faculty, and the public, including our students' parents, with the kind of creativity, empathy, and analysis for imagining first and then beginning to put into practice a more equitable human experience. We want to consider how we think as much as what we think, how we talk and speak with one another as much as what we actually say. Just as one final example, we have two flagship signature lecture series at IAH. One is called Challenging Conversations, which is meant to bring really smart people in a room together and have a discussion about the tough topics of the day. And the other is called Community, Arts, and Resistance, which brings poets of all stripes, artists of all stripes, muralists, poets, filmmakers to campus for events and conversations, and then also pair that with a twin event in a community venue somewhere across greater San Diego. We've recently had events on topics, just to give you a little taste, on topics like race and state violence, from Japanese American internment to the Muslim ban, lessons of 20th century authoritarianism for today, border walls and migrations, Black Lives Matters. Most recently, just this last week, in fact, yesterday and Thursday, the last 2 days, we had Marta Gonzalez, the Grammy Award-winning vocalist from the band Quetzal from East Los Angeles, here on campus. Next month, we'll be hosting Juan Felipe Herrera, who was the most recent U.S. Poet Laureate, and by the way, the first ever Latino to be the U.S. Poet Laureate. He'll be giving an event, a reading here on campus, and then another down at the Children's Museum downtown. We believe deeply that our students should be engaging the world around us. This is why we partner with the Children's Museum or the Black Box Theater or the Oceanside Museum of Art and many, many other community partners. And our students are at the heart of all of this, helping us reshape our campus. Think about the impact our campus has across San Diego, California, and the world. And I would argue, just as a sort of closing note and comment, that this is crucial work these days, in these times, in particular, given that the arts and the humanities are under attack. This is signaled by many examples and instances, but not the least of which is those holding the purse strings on the federal budget, threatening to eliminate the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities. We believe that the Institute of the Arts and Humanities, together with our students, can help empower the university, our many publics, and remind us all that the arts and humanities matter, that they enrich our lives, that they bring diverse communities together, and they push us all to imagine and actually build better worlds. So we want all of you to be a part of that. We hope you'll join us in the fall or sometime soon after. And I'm happy to take comments or a few questions.